Hey, it's Nana Plays Games, aka NPG. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A about yours truly. I thought it'd be a nice change of pace for my birthday, and my subs would be able to get to know more about me. Not in a parasocial way, I swear. I just think it'd be a nice opportunity for me to talk naturally without much of a script. A lot of the questions I got or thought of were interesting and fun to read, so I figured they'll be even more fun to answer. So let's start off strong and answer the fun questions first. Where do I get my ideas for my videos? So my brainstorming process for my video ideas are pretty hit or miss a lot of the time. Either I have an idea or I don't, if that makes sense. Usually my ideas come to me very randomly, like I'll be in the shower and I'll be like, oh my god, like this would be a killer idea, but when I actually sit down to think of ideas, I can't really think of anything. Okay, so something really weird that I do that helps me gain ideas is that I talk to myself like a lot, like probably more than I should, probably like in a very concerning manner, and honestly talking to myself really helps me, brainstorm a little easier. It helps me, open up my brain and try to rack it for any ideas I might have. So yeah, I either have ideas or I don't. Sometimes I do get inspo from other YouTubers, but I try to keep my stuff like as original as possible, Next question is, what are my favorite artists / albums? If we're talking about video game OSTs, I really love Persona. Like I used to like Persona a lot more, but right now I'm just like really into the music. Obviously I love Sonic, and the Sonic music, or the music from Sonic games are like really, really good, even if the games are kind of ass. If we're talking about non-video game OSTs, I'm goth, so I listen to a lot of The Cure and obscure bands like Catholic Spit. I'm also really into hip-hop, so I love Doechii, MF Doom, and Kendrick Lamar, so if you wanted to get a gauge for the kind of music I listen to, that would be it. The next question is, what Pokemon do I think is the best? So I'm actually not too into Pokemon anymore, so I can't answer from like a factual standpoint, so I'll just say what's my favorite. I personally really like Cyndaquil, and I think that the Pokemon is super cute. I've always loved Cyndaquil ever since I was watching the Pokemon anime since I was like 6 years old. I thought Cyndaquil was like insanely adorable, and I just loved it so much. I also really like ghost Pokemon, so any Pokemon like Haunter or Gengar, really cute. The next question that I thought was really interesting was, what's my favorite Nintendo series / sub-series I haven't talked about yet? Okay, so I already talked about Metroid a lot. I've talked about Mario, I've talked about Kirby, I've talked about Splatoon. Everyone knows I love Splatoon. So I think if it had to be from Nintendo, it'd probably have to be Rhythm Heaven. Like, I think it's super underrated, and I really want to see it brought back. Probably with like the Switch 2, even though I highly doubt that's ever going to happen. But so many people seem to love Rhythm Heaven. Like even people who don't even play the game. So I feel like Nintendo should really, get a bang for their buck. I also really love WarioWare. WarioWare is like, a little more appreciated by Nintendo. Like they get games kind of consistently, a lot more consistently than Rhythm Heaven. That's for fucking sure. Other than that though, I love Tomodachi Life. I remember I modded my 3DS, and it was one of the first games I played, and I loved it, and I didn't think I would because I don't typically like games like that. I got super addicted to it, so I would love to see it come back. I wouldn't want to see it for $60, but I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on that. The next question is kind of similar. What's my favorite media I haven't had the opportunity to talk about, but I really want to? Okay, so I actually wanted to do a video about these games like a really long time ago, but I just never got the opportunity to. I love the Puppet Combo games. I've loved them for a very, very long time. Even before they changed their name, I love them, and I'm so glad that, they got popular over the past couple of years. Like, they definitely deserve it. A lot of people, especially me, love low-poly PS1 graphics and love horror and, love 80s slashers, and I really think they do the genres very well. They play off of the stereotypes and the cliches a lot, and I love them. And I don't know what kind of video I'd want to do for Puppet Combo. I kind of had a more solid grasp of the kind of video I'd want to do for it a while ago, but I've been doing so much and I've been so busy that I just haven't had time to think about it. So in the future, maybe I'll do a video about them, maybe for Halloween, but that's a long time from now. Don't quote me on that though, because I am not the most consistent person. You will be disappointed. Next question is, what is the first game I played? So I can't really remember if it was Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 or Sonic 2 or some arcade game like Mappy or Dig Dug. I really can't remember, but those 4 games are the top contenders for what games I remember first playing. It might be the reason why I love Sonic 2 so much. Next question is, what console do I think is the best? PS2, hands down. The PS2 just had banger after banger after banger after banger. There are so many games on the PS2 that I can think of. Like, I imagine myself thinking of games for other consoles, and I can barely name a few that stick out to me, but you think of the PS2 and you immediately think Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2 and 3, you think, Space Channel 5. I mean, maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, whatever. And, if you're more of like a survival horror fan, you obviously think of the Silent Hill games, but you also think of like, Clock Tower, Manhunt, Rule of Rose, Fatal Frame. Like, you think of so many games, and all of them are, even if they're not the most conventional games, they're absolutely beautiful, they're unique, and I feel like it's a representation of how gaming should be. Glaze session aside, PS2 is definitely like the best console, or at least one of the best, like top 3. One question that I thought of that I thought was really interesting was, what do I think is an underrated game genre? So this might be kind of biased, but I love visual novels. I personally think that they're very, very underrated. I love to read, so maybe, that's why I like them. Some people might not want to sit and stare at a screen pressing A every, 20-30 seconds. It's not really the most engaging thing ever. It's not the most fun thing ever. I find it very fun, but some people might not, which is why I understand why it's only for a certain type of person. So, it might not be fun to most people, but it's very fun to me. And if you find the one that's good for you, then I think you'd have a really good time. You just have to find what's right for you. Next question is, what are some of my favorite YouTubers? So I've been watching Dashi Games for a really long time, for over 10 years. I love him to death. I have a Dashi phase every 2-ish months where I just binge watch a lot of his videos. I love his playlist I used to love to watch. I heard he might be retiring soon, but he's the GOAT and he's been doing this for over 14 years, so I think he deserves a break. Other YouTubers I liked, I really love Koryox Kenshin, when he's around. I've also been watching Cub Scouts for a pretty long time. I think I've been watching him for I want to say 8 or 9 years. I love him to death. Maybe not the most appropriate YouTuber to be watching at 12, 13 years old, but that's probably where I got my vulgar sense of humor, so it's fine. I've also been watching Nathaniel Biddy for a pretty long time. His videos are super engaging, really fun, super funny. He just seems like a really chill guy, so I love him. Okay, so now we're going to explore the more personal side of me with some different kinds of questions. Here is a formal introduction. My name is Ayana, but my sister always used to call me Nana. I'm currently 21 years old as of the release of this video. I'm in my 3rd year of university, and I'm an English major, so majoring and working in a coffee shop, which is fine. I like cats, candy, and video games, and I don't like people who are pretentious or mean for no reason. I love Splatoon, Sonic, and Metroid. I'm goth, so hopefully my witch and graveyard aesthetic is as off-putting as possible. My zodiac sign is Pisces. I was born the youngest of my household, and I'm very, very introverted. I'm also a girl, which, I hope you were able to tell, and I'm having a lot of fun doing YouTube. Now let's get back to some of the questions. What are some fun facts about me? I have 3 adorable cats. I love Halloween and Christmas. I've been dating my boyfriend for 6 years. I have 8 siblings. My favorite colors are black and purple. I sleep, a lot, more than I should. And I order the same thing every time I go out to eat. What other hobbies do I have outside of gaming? So I'm actually a pretty crafty person. I like drawing. I like making perler bead art, which I got into, I believe, a couple months ago. I love attempting to make keychains, even if, not every attempt is as successful as I want it to be. And writing is my bread and butter, even if I don't do it that often. I only do it when I either have to for school or when I have to for my videos. I haven't really had the time or energy to do anything fun with my writing skills, other than making videos. That's pretty fun. I like that a lot. But other than that, I haven't had time to really write as many fictional stories as I wanted to. I used to write entire books and a whole summer, but now I just don't have the energy to anymore, which is fine. I'm getting older, but those are the things I write the most for, basically. Here's an interesting question I'm pretty sure many people have wanted me to answer. To be perfectly honest and to be as blunt as possible, I've always wanted a YouTube channel. I don't know if it was because, when I was younger, I wanted the attention of having a YouTube channel or because I wanted the money, but I think I've gotten a really good grasp of what I want now. I don't necessarily need any money right now. I also don't need the attention. Of course, the engagement is really nice, and I love seeing people's responses, and getting attention will help with that. But attention isn't necessarily what I need. I just love having a channel. I just love creating. I love writing. I love editing. Surprisingly, I used to hate it super much. But I just love being a creator, if that makes sense. I went back and forth with myself about what I would want my YouTube channel to be about, what I would want to make my videos based on. And it wasn't until my boyfriend and I were talking about starting a YouTube channel together, which, happened and didn't happen at the same time, that I got a, pretty solid grasp on what I wanted. So I can definitely thank him for that. What are my personal goals? If I could, I'd really love to be a writer for literally anything, but ideally, I'd love to write for games or movies. I'm actually making an indie game with my friends and I want to release it, but, don't tell anyone that. Being able to do YouTube full-time is, probably never going to happen. I'm a realistic person, I'm trying not to be as idealistic as possible like I used to be, but if it did happen, I'd be really, really happy with that too. I'm pretty sure some people would be curious about this. What does my video making process look like? I actually have a really strict step-by-step process for how I do my videos, so my first order of business would be to write the idea in my notes as soon as I get the idea. Depending on how fun I think the idea would be to make into a video, I might move it up my list for how soon I want to do it, but most of the time it just stays in my notes until I figure out what to do with it. The next order of business would be to make the thumbnail, which never takes very long, and it's probably the most fun process. Then we get to one of the more important parts of my video making process, where I have to actually write the script. Writing the script is also pretty fun. It can be a little tedious based on whatever idea I have, but most of the time it goes off without a hitch. So the next step would be to record the script, and based on how long the script could be, it either goes from being an awful experience to being absolute hell on earth. The next step would be to, obviously edit the video. I always do it myself. I'm not the best editor in the world, but I feel like over the past 8 months, I've gotten a lot better at it. I used to use iMovie, embarrassingly enough, but I moved on to Project Violet and CapCut, and those work as well as they can. After editing everything and tweaking as many things as I can, I add the timestamps in the description, I make sure everything looks nice, and then I release it. That's basically all I do for it, and it usually only takes between 4 to maybe 9 hours in total, so it's never that big of a deal. What are some YouTubers that I look up to? So regarding my channel and based on the type of videos I make, I love Scott the Wasp, Nathaniel Bandy, some Call Me Johnny, Catty Garas. I've been watching them for years and they've been nothing but the greatest inspiration to me ever. And I look at their videos and I'm like, damn, I hope I can get like you one day. And now for the last question of the video, what's my favorite video that I released? So this kind of goes without saying, but definitely the lethal one. I'm super proud of myself for that video. I think I structured it very well. It was very well organized and I'm super happy it did so well, I didn't think it was going to do that well actually because I hadn't had a video do that well ever. But I'm super happy with where it went and I'm super happy with where it's going. I just hope I can make more videos like that in the future. Actually, I totally forgot I had a bonus question. So my friend asked me what was my favorite Knuckles song from Sonic Adventure 2, and he and I talked about it, and we had some differing opinions here and there. So I think my favorite Knuckles song from Sonic Adventure 2 would be either Meteor Herd or Death Chamber, and my least favorite would probably be Pumpkin Hill, just because it's overrated in my opinion, but it's not bad at all. So now it's the actual end of the video. Thank you so much to everyone who's asked me questions. Despite how anxious I was, I had a ton of fun answering all of them. It just feels so good to just, yap freely and not have to worry about a script. On a more important note, hopefully with every year I can continue to make proper strides to make you and everyone else who watches me happy. My channel has grown immensely in the past 8 months and it's been so unprecedented that I can't even form the words to say how grateful I am. I can only hope that as my channel continues to grow that you are here to watch my progress. With that being said, I'm NPG, it's been real. Peace!